They all come from truth, and that's why we like them so much, because there's something about it that's just eating away at us, where we say, man, there's just something that feels truthful. There's something that feels realistic about what I'm seeing here. Oh, and another thing, like the Smurfs, right? The Smurfs are the little beings, and they live in the mushrooms. They live in and amongst mushrooms. The mushrooms were their houses. Gigantic mushrooms. Now, Gargamel, the Gorgon, the giant, the Titan, he comes in and he wars with the Smurfs. And there's still these giant mushrooms everywhere. And it's just symbolic of the world that we once lived in. So the ancient world was flooded over. It was destroyed. It was terraformed, and all of that mud washed away and baked in the sun, and everything in the ancient world turned into stone. As we go from revelation to revelation on this wonderful journey, let's try not to make the mistake of applying something we have learned so far to everything. For example, if I say the Titans turned into stone, I can't just go and say everything I see that's stone is a Titan. Pardon me. The whole world was turned into stone. The whole world was fossilized and petrified. That includes any type of technology that once existed. It includes plants and animals and beings like this one right here. And it applies to everything. So we have to use wisdom and caution before we're too quick to say, oh, that's what that is. Oh, it's that. You know what I mean? Now, we let these things marinate. We let the truth marinate within us. It's good to take our time and to be patient. I know many of us are in a big fat hurry because we're so excited, you know? And that's what makes us kind of like children. Because the human race is really a bunch of babies. We're babies. We're like children, you know? We don't live for very long. So can you blame us for getting so excited whenever we come across a revelation? Man, we want to share it with everyone. We want to declare it from the rooftops and say, oh, I found the truth. But you'll always be finding the truth. The truth is a continual path. And we happen to be in a time where the truth, as we're picking up on it, is gaining in momentum. Like I said at the beginning of the video, people are starting to see these things all over the place. Look at that. That is a snake head. I mean, okay, let me take a dose of my own medicine. Let's not be too quick. But come on. It's not just a rock that was formed by mud and shaped by wind and rain. Give me a break. And I threw that one in there just for fun, because that does look like the prior image of the luck dragon turned into rock. And this is another image, you know, the giant trees, like I was talking about. Look at all the debris around it. It was cut. Something cut that. Look at that. What does that look like to you? You know, the L race devised horrific weapons and eventually decided to go ahead and destroy everything in a gigantic flood that brought about our oceans that we have today. Now, those floodwaters had all of the mud rolling around in it. The mud was covering everything, keeping things from oxidizing or having oxygen in it or whatnot, and petrifying it, turning it into stone. Petrification is a very easy process if you understand how it works. The ancient world turned into stone. It was covered in mud, it solidified, it densified, and all of those minerals that are mixed up in that mixture of the ocean water and the debris from the terraformed world, those minerals made their ways into the pores of the bodies and into the plants and into the technology and everything. And when the floodwaters receded, that what we call the sun or the skylight in our realm baked everything and solidified it even more, making the process permanent. And today we have wonderful pictures in our world, wonderful images, statues basically, all over the place that we cannot explain their existence. Why do they look so strange? Why do they look so out of place? Mainstream science can't explain it. This mud fossil theory explains it perfectly. And our world is full of things like these whales, right? Those are gigantic rocks, but look at them. They look just like whales. I mean, they may not be whales, this might not be a bird, but these things are not what we've been told. It's not just rocks. I mean, look at that thing. I don't know if that's a giant brain, but what I can tell you is It has no natural place to be there in that field. Look at this guy. This looks exactly like the Titans or the fallen angels on the movie Noah. If you've ever seen the movie Noah, the recreation of the flood story, those fallen angels, they're rock. They're made out of rock. Gee, why are they made out of rock? Oh, I don't know. Our world was petrified. It was turned into stone, it was turned into rock, and this perfectly explains the world that we see around us today. It explains perfectly all the strange and out-of-place rock formations that we see around us. Where science fails, mythology, legends, cultures, religions, all of these stories that have been passed on to us, and that's why we do this, by the way. That's why we come up with fiction novels and movies that are fantasy and story form, because we don't live for that long. Humans have a very short lifespan, so we've developed a way which, according to legend, was actually taught and commanded to us by the gods, who were immortal compared to us. They told us, pass these things down in story form. The stories will live on. Myths are not fiction. Myths are not lies. Myths are truth told in story form. It's my belief that we'll be able to look at the world around us and we'll be able to understand and piece together our ancient past. It will give us identity. It will give us purpose and understanding of how we came to be where we are today and why the world looks and is ran the way that it is today. It's because some of those elven race survived and they went underground and they became dark elves and they control our world today. That's a whole different video, which it gives our lives actual meaning and purpose as to why we are here, who we are, what is the meaning of life. All of these important age-old questions I've found the answers to in unraveling our esoteric past, that which has been hidden from us. But it can't be hidden for much longer, because we're piecing it back together.